Bitcoin remains indecisive, leaving markets guessing right now. One thing is true, it is screaming, be careful to BTC holders. Cardano doing much of the same, but big news for ADA holders as Samsung gets exposure to Cardano. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Thank you so much for coming by. This is a Bitcoin Cardano video. I want to start with Bitcoin. This is big stuff happening on the Bitcoin chart, and I want to dig into it. Let's start here. This is not financial advice. This is, I think, relevant data that could be valuable to all of us if we're using caution. But this is just my crypto journey based on my experience with these charts. I want to share it with you, and this is what I'm watching. This is Bitcoin on the weekly. The thing that sticks out, and we've been tracking, is the 50-week moving average, that blue line. Bitcoin failed to close the last weekly candle above. This week, we have 5 days, 2 hours still left of this weekly candle, but it is not a good sign to see Bitcoin getting that separation from that 50-week moving average. You can see the separation here to the downside. We want to start seeing support above this 50-week moving average, similar to the bounce that we had back here in July. It's a really, really important area. Not only that, from that bounce in July, we've had a swing high, which was a higher low, I should say, not a swing high. This was a higher low, and now we're putting in another higher low, and we need to hold support, really key support right here. So that's the first thing on the weekly. Now, digging into this entire move, digging into this entire uptrend, this is what I want to talk about based off of this video I did 3 weeks ago, December 11th. This was Bitcoin setting up a potential head and shoulders, right? Retesting kind of this neckline area. We were looking for a right shoulder setup, and we've been getting it. We really have. And I want to dig into that and talk about where support is, what Bitcoin needs to do right now. And this is what we're looking at. If we're looking at Bitcoin chart, here we go. There's a couple data points I want to track with you. And this is charted more particularly, this neckline in particular. So the story here, and this is all a head and shoulders is. It's just a story. It's the grappling. It's the tug of war of bulls versus bears. That's what That's what an inverse head and shoulders. That's what a head and shoulders is, which is what we have here on the screen. Left shoulder. So basically, bulls kind of stepping in, making a move to the upside, a progressive move to the upside. The bear stepping in and bringing it right back down. This is kind of that first neckline touch, really. The bulls step in even stronger to form the head as the bears step in and bring it right back down to the neckline, that common support area for Bitcoin. And then that right shoulder is the final stage of the story. It's the bulls trying once again to break out. And the bears, this is the question. This is the grappling. How strong are the bears? Because right now, the sideways trading, it's not a beautiful right shoulder or anything, but it certainly is a struggle, and there is a right shoulder here. Doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical, right? But we have this bounce off the neckline and just sideways trading, and the bears really doing a good job thus far in keeping Bitcoin from breaking this pattern that we don't want to see play out. Because at the end of the day, a breakout to the downside, we have a target to probably around the lower 30,000s. And this is what I'm tracking on the daily chart. When we're looking at this daily chart, and I think I was mentioning this in the video, is like we're also looking at moving averages, right? And when we're looking at moving averages on the daily, we can see Bitcoin below the 200-day moving average. We can see Bitcoin below the 20-day moving average. We can see the harsh downward trend of that 50-day. So we haven't been getting support above those any moving averages. And in fact, most recently we're getting some resistance, and that's where we need to utilize some caution, right? So, and the thing that stands out to me when I'm looking at this is this. Well, we had a similar type of thing happening back here, right? That last swing low right here. You see even the 20-day crossing below the 50-day, and then below the red line, the 200-day moving average. But when I look at the momentum oscillators, you can just see that move brought Bitcoin down to this, 30 to 35 line on the RSI, a slower moving momentum oscillator. And then it was kind of setting up on the stock RSI this bullish divergence, these higher lows, right? This time around, we don't really see that happening. We first off see a good amount of room to the downside for Bitcoin at this stage as we're seeing the resistance here. And we also don't really see much of any type of bullish divergence on the stock RSI right now. It's just kind of more of a consolidation on this stock RSI. So that screams to me, just be careful. Bitcoin really has to make a really strong move right now. And the other thing that plays into this, if we're looking at these charts, is we want to take that last swing low back here to the swing high, and we can chart this Fibonacci. So swing low to swing high. And this is what we want to see Bitcoin do. Continue holding support because this is the support area. Right now, the 786 line around $45,800. That's the 786 line of this rectangle here. The 618 line is $50,700. This entire area is a support area. It's a higher low support area for Bitcoin. It's holding right now. It's been holding this entire time. You can just see it. Look at the 786 line being tested and holding as support. We want to see that maintained, but more so, we want to see Bitcoin begin escaping that entire support area. So that's what I'm watching for Bitcoin, but we have to be careful. We have to just, there's been absolutely no bullish confirmation. Bitcoin's on the brink of support, and this isn't a bearish video, but these are the things we want to be prepared for because we know how volatile this space can be. We know how volatile these charts can be, and the move to the downside is just 100% up for grabs right now for those bears, and you want to be ready for it. So let's pivot to Cardano. First, before we even talk about Cardano charts, everybody, check this out. Another great initiative powered by the Cardano blockchain. This is it, dude. 2022, we're going to see so much of this. Samsung US to plant 2 million trees in Madagascar by the end of the first quarter of 2022 in partnership with Veritree. And Veritree is kind of the key here. A Cardano blockchain-based climate solutions platform. And then we can kind of dig in here. Here's the Samsung to plant millions of trees to fight climate change article, right? That's their article. But this goes into a little bit more, the newscrypto.com. And it basically says, seems Samsung has completely submerged itself into the blockchain technology and all set for the future. And here we go. Samsung states that it has partnered with Veritree. Veritree is a global blockchain solutions provider focused towards nature-based environmental protection projects. Also, the blockchain solution provided by Veritree will enable Samsung to monitor the complete planting of these 2 million mangrove trees and track if each of them are being planted. The key here is Veritree, which comes under Tentree and uses a Cardano blockchain as a network space. So you can go over to Veritree, and this is their website, Cardano Forest, 55% funded. And this is how it all comes together. This is, in fact, Samsung getting exposure to Cardano blockchain. More importantly, this is Cardano blockchain use case, providing a foundational, important piece to the puzzle that Samsung is trying to complete here, right? Which is these trees, planting these millions of trees. And so this is big because and I just did a video on this yesterday. We're going into 2022. Cardano has already grown so much over the last couple of years alone in terms of its fundamental technical achievements and the foundation to its technology. And that's going to continue into 2022. That's what we were talking about, the growth of Cardano going into 2022. And you're going to start seeing this more and more, not just like with Samsung, but others. I really, really think that. So this is huge news for Cardano. No matter what's going on in markets, as it consolidates, as it does whatever, that's huge news. But let's talk about this real quick. I just want to go over because it's kind of like Cardano. It's definitely, listen, this is a 6-hour chart on Cardano. I don't know if you've been watching my technical analysis. I speculatively charted this. I don't remember when, but it was somewhere in this vicinity as we were testing this $1.60 resistance. I speculatively charted this exact move that Cardano is in. And it's at kind of a similar move to Bitcoin in a sense, meaning it's trying to put in a head and shoulders. In this case, it's an inverse head and shoulders, but it's testing key support. That support as this right shoulder potentially forms. And this is what we'll be looking for in crypto in general. Bitcoin, can it make that move we were just talking about to the upside to escape this head and shoulders, to escape its own support here and get back above for the bounce to the upside? If that happens, Cardano has a very big case to do much of the same with probably a more powerful breakout, I would say. What that looks like is this swing low to swing high And you can see Cardano right now testing a key Fibonacci support, the 618 sitting at around $1.35 to $1.28 at the 786. This is the area we've been tracking anyway. We've been watching it. This is just me repeating it, giving an update on it. It's been sideways. Like there's not much I can say or do other than we need to see how this plays out. We know our last fail-safe support for Cardano right now is down here in the lower trend line. It's like I want big moves to the upside and to the downside all the time if it could just happen, because it makes it so much easier to give these updates without repeating myself. But this is in fact what we're watching for. Can Cardano do what we want Bitcoin to do, which is escape this support area, start getting extension back above, and actually create the right shoulder of this inverse head and shoulders that we were tracking? I mean, this thing is so in play. This would get, if we get that breakout target to the upside, Cardano back to $2 plus. So that's ultimately the biggest thing I'm watching on Cardano. Looking at the weekly chart, that would be the case for Cardano. If it makes that move to the neckline to get back above this 50-week moving average around $1.60 in that $1.60 range, we need to see that move for Cardano. Will it happen? Don't know. It's not why I'm here, everybody. But I'm definitely tracking that data with you. I'm definitely on standby wondering what these markets are about to do. It does seem like something's getting ready to happen. Either support's getting ready to break on Bitcoin over here at this support area, and we might fall into the completion of this head and shoulders pattern, or we're getting a nice little bounce to the upside to test key areas, namely on that Bitcoin chart. This 50-day moving average would be a huge area to get above, $51,700. And Cardano, the $1.60 neckline area, really, really big area to get above. So that's what I'm watching on these charts, everybody. I appreciate you. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.